crew, thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you guys can hear me all right, please put a 1 in the chat. Hope you guys are having a wonderful Friday. Just fix a couple of things here before we get started. Just a bit there. Good to see everybody. All right, so today's show, we're going to go over all the items that were seized from Richard Allen's home. I thought I would kind of get examples of what was taken. Some of it's kind of redundant, but there are some interesting things that I noticed, and so I thought we'd go through each item. Now, of course, like I just said, they're examples, but there are some interesting things that I did notice, and especially with the colors that they were interested in, and then what colors they weren't. And then there's some things that me and Steve, we went over obviously these documents when they came out on Wednesday, but I knew we would probably miss a few things because there were so many documents that were released. Some of them are a lot of the same thing. They're just kind of different files with just some extra added things. So it was really tough to kind of like go through them all for the first time. But definitely found some interesting things that we definitely missed the first time. Like the phone where Libby's phone was found. As a matter of fact, I completely missed that the first time we were going through the documents. And so we'll look at that. And so but before we get started, if you're new to the channel, sorry, phone's going off. If you're new to the channel, welcome. I'm Chris with Monsters Under Our Bed. We cover murder, mystery to the missing. And so we always like to give back by featuring the missing at the beginning of our shows. So we're going to go ahead and get that set up. So this is Deshaun Mayberry. 5'5", 120 pounds. He's just 12 years old. Last seen wearing a gray sweatshirt and blue jeans. He went missing literally last night at 11:30 p.m. It says he's having a mental crisis and is in need of assistance. So this would be in the Baltimore County in Maryland. If you have any information, you can call 911 or 410-307-2020. And here's kind of a better picture of Deshaun there. Just 12 years old, just went missing out of Baltimore. Then another one that I've never seen this posted, so I get my stuff from Twitter most of the time. I do take personal requests. So you can always email if you have a family member or friend that just went missing and you would like to get their details out there. You can email me, just send me the details and a photo if you can, and I'll be happy to feature them in an upcoming show. One thing I've never seen them do is, this is kind of scary, is a group of them put together. And this is all in the same county. This is in Maryland. And so we've got 6 teenagers here. We've got Evelyn, Beatrice, Jalen, Yesenia. Hopefully I pronounced that right. Ruth, between the ages of 14 and 16. Kind of scary. Some, let's see, 2 of them went missing on June 23rd. 2 of them went missing on the 27th. And then 2 of them went missing on the 26th. That's really scary. And this is all in the Montgomery County in Maryland. So I hope this is not connected. But at the same time, I just hope these girls are found safe. So, sorry, my phone's going off. I'm going to hang this up, or turn this off real quick. All right, so let's get going here. So I think we'll start off. So like I said, we'll go over the items seized. I've got examples of what was taken. And then there was a letter written by an inmate that was that's at the Westville Corrections where Richard Allen was staying. Supposedly he written a letter to the warden, and I'm not sure if it was the warden and attorneys of Richard Allen, but he says that Richard Allen was being mistreated and he has proof. So I thought we'd also look at that letter because that's something that I overlooked on Wednesday. And then I'll give you some background about this particular guy and let you guys decide whether you believe what he wrote or not. But it is kind of interesting. So quickly, just a shout out to all my wonderful mods, Copper Horse, Karen Lee, D. Thank you guys so much for your hard work. And then, of course, shout out to my members for supporting this channel. I couldn't be doing what I'm doing without your guys' support. So thank you guys so much. So let's get started with the items seized. And like I said, these are just kind of examples that I could pull because there's some of these got some interesting details to them, and then some of these are pretty vague. But we'll start off with the first portion here, and that is, so let's see, I'm going to try to get this side by side here. The best way to do this here. So one of the first things that they got labeled here is the Sig Sauer, which is, I'm going to put, let's see if I can do this right there. So we've got the Sig Sauer that they recovered, 40 caliber handgun. Then right under that is a wooden keepsake box, which 40 caliber Smith & Wesson cartridge was found in this keepsake box, which is in a dresser between both closets in the master bedroom. Also, another thing I thought would be interesting to look at is, so apparently this house is for sale. So there are photos outside and inside. So I figure after we go through these items, we can look, take a tour through the house and the outside as well. It's kind of interesting. Shout out to Sleuth Intuition. I think he did a video on it recently, and I just noticed that. So I thought it'd be interesting to kind of look at the house as well. So moving on, so we have the wooden keepsake box that was taken. Something like this. It was a Smith & Wesson keepsake box, but I just found this one here. Or I guess it's a Smith & Wesson cartridge found in a wooden keepsake box. Interesting. Then we have another cartridge, Smith & Wesson cartridge found inside the Sig Sauer handgun. I'm assuming is another term for the magazine because they switch it up. Yeah, so these are basically the cartridges. So this is what was found in the wooden keepsake. These are cartridges, or a lot of people call them magazines, clip, that holds the ammunition. So they found 2 of these in that wooden keepsake. And one of them contained 9 40 caliber bullets, and then one with 8 of the 40 caliber. I'm assuming is how that's worded. So they had 2 of these cartridges, and one had 9 and one had 8. Then we have a handgun case, Sig Sauer handgun case, something like this, with the trigger lock with 2 keys. So something similar to this that they also took. Then it jumps to something that he... is that what it is? A cartridge is the bullet. Okay. Caliber cartridges. And one with 8 cartridges. Okay. 40. Okay, that makes sense. All right. Thank you so much, SP. I am not a gun person. That makes so much more sense. So they found... one filled, so they found 2 magazines. Oh, yeah, so they had 2 magazines, one filled with... okay, so I had it right, yeah. So 2 magazines, one with 9 and one with 8 cartridges. That's interesting. Then we jump over to a bunch of different old items. Motorola flip phone, which is crazy to see. They have... AudioVox brand, usually they have a bunch of different things. AudioVox, when I think of AudioVox, they have the DVD players that go in the cars, the portable DVD players. It doesn't specify, so I'm wondering if this is more of the phone. There's kind of a few items labeled in this particular one here. Motorola flip phone. Actually, there's 1, 2, and then we have 4 car charges and 3 wall outlet charges. So quite a bit in this one bag that they took away. But most of it is these 2 Motorola flip phones with chargers. And last but not least, on this page is a Lexar compact flash 1 gig memory card. These particular ones usually would go in, I would assume, like a camera. This particular one here, I could be wrong, but I think this is what this memory card is for. And so moving on. Then without really, we don't know the color, it just says Thorogood boots, size 7.5. Thorogood boots, it says dirty boots. So that's what these are here. Raise this just a little bit. And then it doesn't give a brand. It says dirty black boots, but interesting. Is it one size down, 6.5 mins. But it doesn't, like I said, it just says black boots. Some of these are just kind of more generic. And then we kind of get into his crazy knife collection. So another one, we have a silver metal sheath with a silver double-edged knife. So this is what you would get, something like this here. And then you would have, and he's got tons of folding knives, 1 brown, gold, and silver folding knife. So I'd assume something that would look like this. And is this the one? Okay, no, this is not the one. An imperial blade knife with sheath. And that would be something like this here. And make sure I don't lose my spot. Then we have another foldable knife, which is red and gold handle. So something kind of like this. And then we have the red and gold handle. I think I couldn't find the gold on this. So we have another foldable knife here. And then the Ozark Trail knives, which I do own quite a few of these. Now there's different models. This one's a folding knife, and this actually doesn't say folding knife. I actually may have the actual knife they're talking about. They come in different shapes and sizes, these Ozark Trail knives. You usually find these at Walmart. I notice a lot of this stuff is Walmart brand stuff, like with the clothing. But this is the Ozark knife. This would be a folding knife. The one I have is not a folding knife, but it has a sheath. But like I said, they come in all different sizes. Then another folding knife with a wood ivory handle with sheath. And in this one, it's got quite a few different ones. It's also got a Gerber brand knife. Gerber makes different various sizes of different knives. And then another one black folding knife. So there's 4 knives in this particular line here. Let's see, folding knife. All of them are folding knives. And here's what a Gerber. And then a multi-tool. They've got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4 or 5 of these multi-tools. They've got a Crossley brand and a gold Indiana National Guard multi-tool. I guess you could consider these knives as well. But they recovered at least 4 or 5 of these guys here. And then the one that really sticks out to me, and here's just kind of another example of the multi-tools. This one's interesting to me is the Bowie knife. This would be considered like the Rambo style when they had the Brian Kober and they, had mentioned the word like the Rambo style knife. before I think of K-bar, I think of a Bowie knife because it's kind of like to me, it's much bigger. It's not as big as a machete, but definitely bigger than a regular sized knife. Um, so that's what that would look like. Um, then we move on to clothing, but we're not done with knives because they do get more knives down. Mention some more knives, but there's one in particular they mention that they find in a garage. It's weird, they don't mention where they got these from, except for when some of the items they mention they get from the garage, which I think is very interesting. So then we have the blue jacket with red stripes, Adidas. Like I said, these are, if you're just coming in, these are just kind of examples. Um, Then we have a blue quarter zip sweatshirt. Quarter zip is just the kind of the down to the collar type thing here. And then we have the black and green Fox brand hooded sweatshirt, which he could have wore under the blue Carhartt jacket. Then they have the black and gray North End coat, so something like this here. Then the infamous Carhartt jacket, which is blue, which is believed to be what he was wearing. Then we jump to the Timberland boots, and this is crazy. So these are size 8, so he has so far a size 8 boot, a size 7.5, and a 6.5 boot. Then they recovered many different jeans, of course, all blue, Arizona, which, if I recall, Arizona and let me skip forward. The Levi Strauss, I think both of those brands, remind me in the chat, I think both of those are, I know the Strauss, and I'm pretty sure the Arizona as well, or you can get those at Walmart. And so these are the, let's see, these are the Levi Strauss brand jeans. So they had 3 pairs of the Arizona jeans. They took 2 pairs of the Levi Strauss, all blue. Then we jump to this guy, which I thought was interesting. One winter gray hat with fur-like fibers. Now, I don't know if this is exactly 1-to-1 ratio as to what exactly they mean by this. But I thought it was interesting with the fur-like fibers, and I just kind of makes me wonder if they took this because they have fibers that were taken from the crime scene that may have come from one of his articles of clothing, like this fur-like fiber thing here. So it'd be kind of interesting. And we jump to a UFC, which is a black and red. So like I said, black and blue are kind of the main colors when it comes to the clothing. It's a UFC hooded sweatshirt, full zip. So something like this here. Then it says just a quarter zip George sweatshirt. It doesn't give the color, so I'd assume either blue or black. Same thing, something like this, colored shirt. I'd assume some of these, because if you remember, one of his before he worked for CVS is he worked at Walmart, so it wouldn't surprise me that a lot of this stuff did come from Walmart, and maybe he gotten maybe some deals on them or something. Then we have a George, black and blue quarter zip, and it just says Walmart sweatshirt. So I'm assuming this is probably like Walmart, the actual like outfit that Walmart gives out to their employees. Then we have the quarter blue George brand, which is another brand that Walmart has, sweatshirt, quarter zip. And we have the Kenneth Cole blue. For some reason, I couldn't find blue when I was looking up Kenneth Cole. But same thing, sweatshirt, just blue. Fruit of the Loom sweatshirt, blue. Same thing, I think. I'm not sure about Kenneth Cole, but George, Fruit of the Loom. Strauss, all brands that Walmart has. Starter, I want to say Starter, maybe in Walmart. Same thing, sweatshirt, blue. Then we have, this one's interesting, is the black spider hooded sweatshirt. And I wonder what they mean by spider, if they mean by Spider-Man, um, or if there's like a spider brand that I don't know about. Let me know in the chat if you guys have any ideas on this. But kind of interesting, black hooded sweatshirt. Another one, blue sweatshirt with an old label, so I just same thing. Blue Adidas sweatshirt. And then the one thing that was just kind of sitting in the middle of everything was the brown as it's labeled, one brown fitted cap with small bill, which to me I thought was very interesting. And to me, I wonder if this is the Ivy hat. That, to me, that's what it looks like he's wearing in the video. But the fact that it says small bill really piques my interest, and of course it's brown as well. So I wonder if this is the cap. And if you saw my video, we did talk about some of the most shocking discoveries in this recent documents, but one that's interesting that I mentioned is, a lot of people had different ideas on what he had over his head. One, of course, being the Ivy hat, but some thought it was a hood over his head. Some thought he wasn't wearing anything, but I think this is huge. This could be like the hat. Then we move on to what they label as stocking caps. And let me know in the chat what you guys think of what a stocking cap is. Because when I think of a stocking cap, I think of and I've got an example here. Let me go forward a little bit. This is what I think of a stocking cap. So let me know what you guys think of a stocking cap. Because apparently they take quite a few stocking caps. But I'm not sure if they're talking, because when you look up stocking cap, you'll get beanies. And I could not find, and I'm sure they may have one, but I could not find a NASCAR stocking cap. So I wonder if this is just really just kind of a larger beanie. Then they also took a Adidas stocking cap and gray brown Canada stocking cap. So there's the Adidas. And then they have one gray and black Adidas skull cap. Now that's a little more specific. Skull caps are pretty, they're not as big as a beanie. This size here. And then there's also an NFL Colts skull cap as well. So here's another one there. And then it says one brown Carhartt stocking cap. And so I don't know if, because Carhartt, the only thing I could find was something like this. Let's see what you guys say in the chat with these, because I'm curious what you guys, when you hear stocking cap, like I said, I think of some that goes down in the back. Oops. Personally, I would call them knit hats. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. When you look up stocking cap, that's the other thing it pulls up is, do-rags. Exactly. That's you get beanies when you just look up stocking cap. Yeah, you're gonna get probably beanies, do-rags, and just about everything. But you will see some of these, but you almost see everything but this. But that's what comes to mind when I think stocking cap, in my opinion. It's kind of weird. Okay. Then we go on to pairs of gloves. It's 10 pairs of gloves and one extra glove. So I don't know if these are random gloves. I know Walmart, you can get, like a 10-pack of different kinds of gloves. Your garden gloves, various different types, and they'll come in various different packages, 4 or 5, I think up to 10, something like that. So I wonder if these are more of kind of your either garden gloves or whatever. Then it's not very specific, and I'm really curious about this one. Is it's a blue fabric strap and one blue green fabric strap. So this is what comes to mind, some kind of like, and it's not necessarily a toe strap, but something you'd strap down, you'd use maybe in the, to strap something down. That's what comes to mind on that. Like I said, it's very generic on the description, so kind of curious if there's more to that or if this is just what these are. Then we have the HP laptop. It gives me a serial number, but when I put up the serial number, I can't really find the exact model. So just an HP laptop, and then an HP Pavilion laptop, which a little bit newer. I mean, I don't know the exact model, so so 2 HP laptops. Then another interesting one is a plastic bag containing multiple headbands. So it doesn't give a color, which really bums me out because I have a theory on the headbands if I knew the color. But it just says multiple headbands. Then we jump, let's see here. Then we jump to the cardboard phone box containing miscellaneous serial information. So basically, when you buy your phone, and you get the box with all the instructions and stuff, and the extra stuff that may come with them. I'm assuming that's what this is. Then it jumps over to a Winchester Supreme Elite empty box. Now, I don't know if this is the exact one, but something like this. Then we jump to a Cruiser micro 2 gig flash drive with Rick on the back, which is kind of interesting. Then we have a Western Digital hard drive, 1 terabyte, which is interesting because I used to actually have this same one. Then we move on to a Samsung phone in a floral case. So I don't know if this is just an older phone. And then we jump to the mini katana with a red tassel. And now when you look up mini katana, there's like many different sizes on what you could call mini. I mean, there's some that come down to like a little like folding knives. And then you've got some that are, much longer. So they recovered one of those. Then they start mentioning some of these things where they got it from, which is the garage, which I think is interesting. So they've got this brand fillet knife from the garage with the sheath. Then this knife, the Best Defense knife from the garage with a sheath as well. Then we jump back over to external hard drive. It doesn't give the size. And then a black iPod. Then we've got 32 megabyte, excuse me. 32 megabyte. I wonder if they meant 32 gig. Either way, they have 2 SD cards. Those are the little micro SD cards that would go into your camera and other various things. You got 2 of those. Then this is the thing that's just kind of like in the middle of everything. And I think we read it out when I had Steve on, but now reading this, having taken more time getting to read all this stuff, I think this is very interesting. It could be nothing. It could be huge. But according to its description, sealed cardboard box containing one black sheath with an animal imprinted on the front and one large wooden handled knife with a rusted blade from the garage. So kind of interesting that this was sealed away. Could this be the knife that was used? Guess as good as mine, but just kind of interesting that a large wooden handled knife with a rusted blade found in the garage, sealed by cardboard box. It definitely seems like, I don't want to use the word hoarder, but clearly with all these cell phones that we're going to go through here in just a minute, he definitely does keep certain items that I would normally just probably throw away. And then we jump over to vehicle chargers, 5 of them, 9 of the miscellaneous wall outlet chargers. So I don't know if it could be phone or just your regular, with the 3 prongs with them and stuff like that. Surge protector type outlets. Then it just says miscellaneous cell phone accessories, so not sure, kind of vague on that. HP laptop charger. Then, which is crazy, is to see these 2 pagers, one black, one blue. I just don't understand why you'd keep these. I think I only owned 1 pager my entire life, and that was towards just before like the Nokia phones and Cricket came out. Because my buddy had his had a charger, or a pager, I mean, and his mother was relentless when it came to paging him. And if he didn't call within like 10-15 minutes, that thing would just go off. And it just, to me, I was like, I don't want one. I know the pager is a throwback. It's kind of crazy. And then another 3 Motorola and 1 LG flip phones. 3 Motorola and 1 LG. Yeah, so another throwback. LG flip phones, Motorola's. Then it says LG Verizon smartphone. So something like this. Oh, and then a box that contains an LG smartphone. I think it's the cardboard box for the LG. Then there's the Motorola Verizon smartphone. LG Verizon smartphone. Let's see, where did I get out of order here? Oh, yeah, okay, let's see. I think that's what that was supposed to be. I think I got a flip phone instead. Yeah, tons of just old cell phones. I mean, just up the wazoo, mixed with smartphones. Another box with 3 older cell phones, audio box, Nokia, Motorola. This one's interesting. This is the Nokia 7705 Twist cell phone. I think this was supposed to like compete with the, I want to say like the Sidekick, was it? Is that what T-Mobile had, was the Sidekick? I guess it's kind of a mix between a BlackBerry and a Sidekick. You just flip it open. Met Nokia. Gosh, that's crazy. Then a Garmin Street Pilot device. This is obviously before, just for cell phones. I mean, people still use them, but obviously your GPS for your car. This is so weird. Some of these items are really weird. We should know more context. They took a cover bag with the motorcycle cover bag with the motorcycle cover. So something like this, plus the bag that holds the cover when you fold it up. So kind of interesting that they took that. I wonder if he used that to cover up something, or so weird that they would take that. And back to the cell phones. These ones are the smartphones. The Pixel 3a XL cell phone. Probably one of his. This would probably be his. I would assume probably his recent cell phone, or closer to it, because it's a A42 5G, Samsung Galaxy A42 5G. So I mean, we didn't. 5G's been out there for a little bit, but I would assume this is probably one of his latest models of phones. Then interesting sealed paper bag, sealed by Steve Mullen, which is one of the guys, one of the investigators there that were taking the items. This is specifically sealed by Steve Mullen, which is containing one Aquafina water bottle. So I'm assuming DNA. Because at this point, they served the search warrant on the 13th. So Allen came in. So this is being done on October 13th. Before they did the search warrant, they brought in Richard Allen and his wife, just to give a little context, to go back over his story that he gave back in 2017. One of the things that really, not only did, was he claiming that he was there and he was wearing the clothing, blue jeans, blue jacket, but they asked him if he owned a gun. He said yes. One of the things they also asked him that he probably didn't think about at the time, which will come back to bite him, is they asked him, have you ever let anybody else use your gun? And he said no. So that'll come back to haunt him, because if he, if it ever comes up and they can't use the defense, well, maybe he let somebody borrow his gun and they're the ones that committed the crime. So they definitely locked him in on that. So I'm assuming they took this Aquafina bottle because obviously he hadn't been officially arrested, because he wouldn't be arrested until the 28th. So this is the 13th. So I'm assuming to get a DNA profile. Then we have another flip phone. Gosh, man, this guy's got so many flip phones. Keeps everything. Silver LG singular wireless flip phone. So another flip phone. I mean, there's got to be 15 of these things easily. All right, down to the last little bit here. And then we'll go over a couple of things that I found interesting with the colors, and we'll take a look at the house. So one of the bigger things, just three more things to go over, is, and there's probably one of the biggest things. Let's see, do I have to? Oh, it's in my other one. Okay, so they took a cutting of the carpeted area in the trunk where the spare tire from his Ford Focus, which is huge, because that could mean there was some kind of stain, either blood transfer or fibers, something that they decided they had to cut out the carpet. I've seen them where they'll vacuum the carpet and then they, take anything that they get from the vacuum and test it, the fibers and everything. So the fact that they cut this thing out could mean that there's some kind of stain or something, blood stain. And then, of course, they took the swabs of the driver's seat belt. So obviously, if Richard Allen was the one muddy and bloody and he got in the vehicle, that seatbelt goes over you, and everybody cleans their car. It's been 5 years, but there could be a spot on that seatbelt that he didn't think about cleaning. So that totally makes sense, especially like on the inside of the seatbelt. Then they also swabbed the passenger side carpeted floorboards. Interesting. So some interesting stuff. So just kind of a rundown of examples of what they took. Now, they were really focused on two colors, blue and black, which I thought was kind of interesting. Um, and the girls, the witnesses, there was 4 witnesses, juvenile witnesses, and most of them came back with either blue or black as far as what the suspect was, or who they saw, what he was wearing. It was either kind of a lot of them mentioned blue jeans. There was a couple that said black, but for the most part, it was either blue or black. But the one thing that I kind of noticed is they never mentioned looking for anything that was brown. And I always kind of had the theory that this was, a brown hoodie underneath. And now, after looking at this new information and then realizing that he's got 2 magazines. So one of the things that was mentioned early on was the 2 magazines for his 6-hour. And it just makes me wonder. Now, this is not the one that I wanted to show. And I know people have mentioned this before. Gun holder. And let's see if I can find it again. I had this pulled up and I closed it. But there's one, oh, yes, just like this. It makes me wonder, oh, and there's one just like it too. Makes me wonder if this is what we see BG wearing. Something like this to hold the extra magazine. Because the thing that I noticed, neither in the Ron Logan warrant or this warrant, as far as what they want to take from the house, there's no mention of, a fanny pack, no brown hoodie. And so, and then the witnesses, I think if this was a fanny pack, I think if the girls would have, and if it was visible to the girls, let me know in the chat. I think that would have stuck out to them out of anything. Seeing a fanny pack, a guy kind of walking around with a fanny pack, I think they would have definitely mentioned that as far as describing the suspect. So just makes me wonder if this is actually some kind of gun holster. I know that's been mentioned before. I was always been on board of it kind of being like a brown hoodie, but whatever this is definitely has volume to it. It has weight. Let's see, where is it? And I know a lot of you guys who've followed Delphi have probably seen this video a million times, just like myself. But if you look closely, zoom in just a little bit. It's got a little bit of a bounce to it. I have to go when it's not slow motion, but there's a couple parts where you can see it's kind of got a bounce to it. And for someone who's tried to recreate this several times, having just a hoodie kind of hanging down under a blue Carhartt, it doesn't have that much volume to it, where this clearly has volume, like a fanny pack, but I just don't think it's odd that they never mention, hey, look for a brown fanny pack. So, and just to give you an idea, let's see. I have tried so many different things to recreate the brown hoodie underneath hanging down to this, whatever the hell, this white thing that's sticking out towards the top. Is it rope? Is it just a bandana that you just kind of stuff down and it's just kind of sticking out a little bit? Those are the 2 things that just drive me nuts, and I've tried to recreate so many times. And I've used everything, and then the hat as well, because like I said, a lot of people think there's different things that he's got as far as hat wise. Some think, driver's cap. Some think it's just the hood. Others don't think he's wearing anything at all. It's just his hair. Um, but I noticed the only time I can get that thing to like, as far as when I was wearing the fanny pack, would be the closest because that's got like weight and volume to it. But when you watch this video, it definitely has like a bounce to it a little bit. Yes, no kidding. Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, people have mentioned. Yeah, I'm definitely not trying to take credit for the gun holster. I know that's been mentioned a long time ago, but for someone who's just tried to recreate it and just driven me nuts. Like I said, the two things that drive me nuts is the brown thing at the bottom, and then this whatever this white thing is, which I would assume is kind of like a scarf or a headband, kind of just stuffed down. Um, but it's definitely tried to recreate it, and the closer out of the two would be the fanny pack because it's got volume. But when you watch the video, this 1 second clip playing, it does kind of have a bounce to it, and that means it's got volume. I mean, you could have something in your hoodie pocket that was low, but you don't really see it come across where it's more kind of square. And I would think now, knowing that he has multiple magazines, I guess long story, um, wrap this up, is now knowing that he has multiple magazines for his Six Sauer. Makes me wonder if that's what that is. Yeah, zip ties. So the one thing when I redid this, the zip ties to get. So one thing that I did learn, because I did learn a few things from reenacting, and then we're gonna jump over to the. We'll take a tour of the house, and then I've got some other things as well. Um, to get that thickness, let me show you. I'm not sure if I've got it in this one or not. See, the rope does stick out. Now, this is a fairly thick rope. The zip ties, I did zip ties. I'm not sure if it's in this one here. When I did zip ties, you couldn't see them. Like they were non-existent. Okay, that's what we were trying to cause out of focus. Yeah, I have it in my other video, but the zip ties they're too thin. You wouldn't see them from that far away. That's my conclusion anyway. So whatever this white thing is definitely thick. It's definitely would be like headband. It'd have to be some thick rope really to stay prevalent in this 48 frames. So moving on. So let's take a look at the house that they took all these items from, and then we'll go over some of the information that me and Steve I kind of overlooked the first time we went over this. So the house is up for sale. It does, or something similar to give it that volume. Let me stretch this out. So it's actually a really nice house. It's what they call a ranch style house, 3 bedroom, 2 bath, I think. So, and yes, Gator, another one. Yeah, Gator. I would agree, Gator. We did try that as well. Yeah, if it was like a white Gator that he had down there, I totally agree with that as well. So this is going, so 3 bedroom, 2 bath, 15, just a little over 15, well, I guess almost 1,600 square feet. And it's a 2-car garage, going for just a little over $250,000. So there's the side of the house here, front door being right here. And let's see, is this taken from the front or the back? Go to the back first. So this is the side yard. I'm not sure if this is taken from the front or the back. I'm assuming this is taken from the front, looking towards the back. I could be wrong. Definitely in the backyard. It's a big backyard. It's got the shed, which we learned that apparently not only did they were searching this shed, but they were doing some digging and some photos, taking photos around this shed. So I wonder what was taken from that, if that was mentioned in the items that were taken, or is that something else? Another picture of the backyard. Another picture. Closer to the back of the house here. Then another picture of the backyard where we can see the different side of the shed there. Now the inside. Like I said, it's a pretty house. Looks like they got the laminate flooring in there, which I used to install that for just a short time of my many careers, and that was one of the worst jobs. They pay actually well when you're working, when you get on a proper crew, but man, they tear up your knees, and it's not a fun job. It's not a job I enjoyed. But it looks good. They definitely kind of got that gray, eggshell kind of, the white. So that's the front room. We got the laundry room here. And the kitchen and dining room with the little island there. I actually do like the color of that. It's kind of weird looking at this and being like, wow, this is a beautiful house, but this contained one of the worst human beings on the planet. But I do like that style. That's I like the colors. Not sure if this is the master bedroom or not. We got the bathroom. Let's see, is this the same bathroom? So let's see. Toilets there. Wait, let me look one more time. Toilets there. That's got 2 sinks. Okay, so this is the smaller bathroom. Okay, so I was just seeing if this is the same bathroom. So this is one of the bathrooms. This is the other one because it's got 2 sinks here. A little bit bigger area, obviously. Oh, so it's got one. Oh, so it's got a bath and a shower in this one. Interesting. So this is the. Huh. Interesting. I've never seen that. So it's got the shower, right? Unless this image. Yeah, because the toilet's not there. The toilet's on this side. Huh, that's kind of interesting. So it's got a bath and then a shower on the other side. So kind of him and her's bathroom. That's kind of cool. Closet. Oh, this is kind of creepy to see because is this Kathy's items, which kind of feel weird. So that's it for the pictures. But yeah, kind of wild. So yeah, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths. Yeah, they didn't really show the other bedrooms, did they? They only showed 1 bedroom. I'm thinking about it. Huh. See if there's any other details. No. Anyway, there's a little tour of the house. Kind of interesting to look at. Just want to take a look at this shed because for those that remember, they apparently had some interest with that shed and took some photos and Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Yeah, it's sad looking at the dreams that died in that house. It's a nice house, though. I just feel for his family. I do too, especially for the daughter. And, who knows if the wife knew anything or not, but I, Terry says, tired of gray. Sorry, Chris. To each his own. Um, anywho, okay, so let's move on. So, one thing that I did look kind of missed. I think it's in this one. So this is what was so hard about these documents that they released is a lot of them are the same, but they have little extra tidbits in each one. So you have to like read a lot of the same stuff and then you come across. So this is the thing that at the top right here. So this is what they're looking for. This is kind of like what they're saying, hey, this is what we want to keep our eye out for. So Detective Tony Liggett, which is one of the lead investigators, affirms and believes he has good cause to believe that the evidence relating to the crime of homicide in violation of located at residence of Richard Allen. They give the address. Detective Liggett believes that evidence in the form of handguns, 40 caliber ammunition, knives, blue sweatshirts / jackets, black sweatshirt / jackets, clothing, electronical devices, and cell phone with cell phone number. Da, da, da. So I thought that was kind of interesting with the phone number. I'm assuming maybe they just know that one's his most recent one. Or actually, you know what? I wonder if this phone number was the one that he gave back in 2017. Make sure you guys can see this okay. I wonder if this is the phone number he gave back in 2017 and they want that cell phone because that cell phone would obviously have, his whatever was going on that year and that day if it survived, which sounds like he kept every cell phone he's ever owned. So I would assume they do have that cell phone that corresponded with this number at one point. It's just kind of interesting. And then, so one thing that was kind of overlooked that I don't think was ever really mentioned, and that is that Libby's phone was found. So, of course, they sadly found the girls. Autopsies of the girls ruled their deaths as homicides, and their wounds were caused by a sharp object. Investigators located Libby German's iPhone 6S under her body at the scene. So that's interesting that her phone was actually under her body. I think we always kind of speculated before this that it fell out somewhere in between, going down the hill and where the bodies ended up. And that phone would have been destroyed if not. So kind of wild that he must have not known that she was filming him, and just lucky that he didn't destroy that phone. It's so crazy. Another thing that I really don't want to go too much into depth in, but if you're kind of wondering what would be the motive, and I think we kind of obviously known this from the Ron Logan warrant, but articles of clothing from the girls were missing from the scene, including a pair of underwear and a sock. So, I said, take that for, that's could give you an idea of what maybe the intentions were, and then maybe things got out of hand and he just couldn't control the two girls, and so he just unfortunately sadly took their lives and then ran and Maybe the intention was to try to kidnap one or both, and the two girls were just too much for him. Okay, so okay. One more thing before we get to the letter from the inmate that supposedly has got some information on Richard Allen is the gun that I wanted. Somebody mentioned, I can't take credit for this, but I think this is very fascinating. I do understand why they would want to keep certain evidence out of the public, but I think the biggest one would be definitely the gun, just because if they had mentioned that they had found an unspent bullet and Richard Allen found out about it before, they discovered Richard Allen, but that got out in the public, or even that they knew a handgun was used in some fashion, even just to control the girls, would Richard Allen thrown that gun away and gotten rid of it? And where would we be if he had actually gotten rid of his 6 hour? I mean, we could still maybe be here. They would still maybe might had enough, but the fact that that unspent bullet that kind of just directly ties him to that gun and him, I think is huge. So did they do the right thing on as far as keeping the gun and the unspent bullet out of the media for that long? Because there's that possibility he could have thrown that gun away. So I think that's kind of interesting to look at it hindsight. Right, that gun would have been destroyed. Exactly. I know we're always, so curious to know what happened, but okay, why can't I scroll up? Hold on, guys. What the hell? There we go. Becky, thank you so much for the $5 super sticker. You're so awesome. That helps this channel so much. So we do have other stuff coming up, and we'll talk about that at the end of the show. Oop. Why it starts doing that? Asking price is $250,000, just a little over $250,000. I think it's about $1,600 a month. Okay, so moving on. Okay. Where is it this one? Oh, that's right. I downloaded it. Okay. So this is something that we didn't go over the first time. So this is a letter. Let me take a sip here. So this is a letter from an inmate, Robert Bastian. And I'll read the letter for the most part. I'm going to have to change some of the words because I know it's kind of... some of the verbiage, language I have to be careful with. So basically, dear clerk of courts, I am an inmate at Westville Correction in the same unit that Richard Allen is being housed in, awaiting trial. Richard Allen is being abused and mistreated along with other inmates in Westville Control Unit. There are corrupt officers and ranking officers calling Allen child, bad person, teasing him that he has a visit from his family, phone is ringing on his tablet, inmates in his cell, Logan, inmates Riley, and can't read the other one, threatening to harm Richard Allen and telling him to self-harm himself. And these inmates have made these comments in front of the warden, John, ranking officers and officers. The staff the staff has recorded on camera these inmates making these threats and suggestions to self-harm himself and has done nothing to stop it. I have proof and evidence of assaults by ranking officers, inmates, grievances in the governor's office, and another bureau that's mishandled and covered up because the Indiana Department of Corrections allowed to police itself with the Office of their Investigation and Intelligence. I recently sent a letter to the U.S. Department of Justice from the Indiana State Representative, Dr. Vernon and Smith, and from the U.S. Senate Committee concerning the DOJ and the FBI mishandling complaints on the Indiana Department of Correction and their facilities. On March 21st, so that would have been just a little over a week before his confession, actually. While in the same unit as Richard Allen, I attempted self-harm and so he tried to self-harm himself and spent 3 days in the hospital due to staff and other officer abuse and mistreatment. On April 9th, I attempted again and spent 4 days in hospital intensive. So now you're kind of getting an idea of what this guy's like. So he tried to harm himself multiple times. Some of this is a little bit hard to read. The DOJ, I'm assuming DOJ, or their mental health provider has provided me no mental health or treatment. I correspond with New York Times investigative reporter and her team in the University School of Law and have made them aware of the assault, abuse, mistreatment going on here at Westville. Please forward this letter to the judge in Richard Allen's case and to his attorneys because I have wrote to the organizations mentioned to expose the assault, abuse, and mistreatment. Respectfully submitted and sincerely, Robert P. Bastian. P.S. I didn't see this P.S. part. P.S. Richard Allen's attorneys just exposed the abuse and mistreatment in the news media and filed an emergency petition in the court. Interesting. So now, one thing I just want to say, I hope to God that none of this is actually happening. Now, are they treating him nice? Probably not. But I have no idea. I have no experience. I've never had done any time or just had a couple of traffic violations. So I have no experience with that kind of stuff. But let me just give you a little bit more story to Robert to give you a little more idea. Oh, IDOC, that's what it was. Okay, I couldn't tell if he was trying to write IDOJ. Okay, that's what it is, in a department. Okay, thank you, double agent. Apparently Robert, and it's been a while since I heard this story, so I'm just going to go out a generic version of it. Now, he's there... I don't know if there's more than one account. Now, he's there doing from child stuff, not good stuff. I'm not going to go much further than that. But that's part of the reason why he's in there is he's done stuff to a minor. But since he's been incarcerated in Westville, apparently when COVID hit, he wrote a bunch of letters, kind of similar to this, saying that he should be allowed to be out because of COVID. And then he also, later on, written a letter, I don't know, to the warden or whoever, saying that if they let him out, that he will go and find the cure for COVID and then basically save the world. Or if he did that, then, he should be able to get time off his record or something like that. But so this guy's not all there. From the little bit that I've heard about this Robert Bastian guy. So take that for what it's worth. So is it true that all of that stuff he wrote, who knows? I doubt, they're treating him great, but I don't, who knows what goes on behind the scenes. But at the same time, there are cameras there, so let me check the chat, see what's going on here. I don't know why I've got this button that's coming up here. Yeah, what did he expect? No kidding. Why is this doing this? Thank you so much, Camilla. Great deep dive, as per usual, Chris, for upcoming trips, and Godspeed. Thank you. Yeah, Steve's going to be going on the road. I might be out there. I've got a few doctor's appointments. I've got to just have something checked out. But yeah, he's going out to Iowa and working on the Evansdale. Hopefully, if my schedule isn't too tight, I'm going to be out there as well. Might be kind of last minute. And then after that, we've got, we're trying to plan something for September or August where we are going to work something maybe in Idaho. There's a couple of cases. So there's a couple of things. Don't want to put in stone yet, but so that's what's coming up as far as our road trips. But the Iowa one is coming up in the next 2 weeks. So, and yes, thank you so much, Camilla, because we wouldn't be able to do that without your guys' support. So thank you so much. He's a freak. Yeah. Yeah, he is. He is. Yeah, that robber, he is. Like I said, I don't want to go into too much detail. But yeah, he's not a good person. No, he said what I think he mentioned that he saw it in the media. So that's probably where Camilla's where Robert's getting that information is because they got tablets and TV in there. So, and I'm assuming, especially they know who Richard Allen is, they're gonna keep their eyes on the latest from that. So let's see. Did I go everything? Let's see. Mentions. Robert, the iPhone, the blue and black. We went over that. So yeah, so I'm going to keep my eye out for any other information. I did do a video. I think if you haven't seen it, I did do kind of like the most shocking things, the top 5 things that we learned in these new documents. If you haven't seen that, I would check that out. And what we got set for the future, we're going to do a members live this Sunday because I haven't done one in a couple of weeks. So we're going to do that for the members. And then as far as upcoming videos, I wanted to do one more on the the Titan sub because there's been some information about the wreckage being recovered and even some possible human remains. So I'm not sure if I'll do a live or if I'll most likely do a video on that. So that'll be kind of one of the upcoming videos. And then, of course, keep an eye on the Idaho 4 and just the latest cases. And then of course, we'll be going out on the road soon. So excited for that. So I just want to thank everybody for taking the time out of the Friday, 4th of July, just around the corner. So I hope you guys getting the time off and get to enjoy the holidays with your family. And just thank you guys so much for taking the time to be here. We'll be back Monday. And then for the members, I'll be back. We'll have a show for Sunday. And then also, I've got my 2-year anniversary, which is, I got to see the exact date, but I think it's like the middle of July. So it's crazy. Almost 2 years on YouTube. So, and I couldn't do it without you guys. So thank you guys so much again. So let me just double check the chat here. Blue Willow, a little something for however it will help. Thank you for your dedication to work to find the missing. Oops. I've got something that's popping up. This happens once in a great while, and it blocks half my chat. Thank you for your dedication and work to find the missing. Much love. Thank you so much, Blue Will. You guys are amazing. We got a great community here, and I couldn't have gone as far as I could without you guys. So thank you so much. So have a wonderful weekend, and we will see you guys very soon. Much love. Chris out.